हेलो दोस्तों, आप देख रहे हैं चैनल कैंपस न्यूज़। दोस्तों आज हम बात करेंगे जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी यानी कि जेएनयू की। हाँ दोस्तों, इस वक्त जो है जेएनयू में एंट्रेंस की तैयारी को लेके जो है जेएनयू एसयू यानी कि वहाँ के जो स्टूडेंट यूनियन है उसके तरफ से जो है ऑनलाइन क्लासेस चलाई जा रही है, जिसमें जो है आपको फेसबुक पेज जो है उस पर वो अपना जो है ऑनलाइन क्लासेस वो लाइव आते हैं। हफ्ते में जो है 2-3 बार लाइव आते हैं और अलग अलग जो छात्र संघ के अध्यक्ष हैं या उपाध्यक्ष हैं, जनरल सेक्रेटरी हैं, सेक्रेटरी है, जो भी हैं वो उन पे जो है चर्चा करते हैं एंट्रेंस एग्ज़ाम को लेके। तो अगर आपने जो है वो पेज नहीं देखा है और आपने अभी तक लाइक नहीं किया है तो जाके डिस्क्रिप्शन में वो पेज है, तो वहाँ पे जाके जो है आप लाइक करिएगा। उसमें जो है रोज़ आपको एक नया वीडियो मिलता है। बाकी इस वीडियो में जो आज हम चर्चा करने वाले हैं, इसमें जो है छात्र संघ अध्यक्ष जो है उन्होंने इसमें चर्चा किया है और किस तरह से एग्ज़ाम का पैटर्न आएगा, किस तरह से आपको एग्ज़ाम में लिखना है, इसको लेके जो है उन्होंने डिटेल में चर्चा किया है। तो आप जो है ये वीडियो अंत तक जरूर देखिए, आपको एग्ज़ाम में जो है इससे हेल्प जरूर मिलेगा। बाकी अगर आप चैनल पे नए हैं तो चैनल को भी साथ में सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा और साथ में बेल आइकन को प्रेस करके ऑल का बटन दबा लीजिएगा, ताकि और भी इस तरह से वीडियो हमारे इस चैनल पर आपको सबसे पहले मिलता रहे। तो दोस्तों वीडियो अंत तक जरूर देखिए, शुक्रिया।
अभी हम लोग जेएनयू स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन के पेज से लाइव है और ये इनिशिएटिव जेएनयू स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन के द्वारा है कि हम लोग लाइव एडमिशन असिस्टेंस दें। हालांकि जो हालत पूरे देश में इस टाइम पे चल रहा है, हम लोग एक कोरोना वायरस के आउटब्रेक से जूझ रहे हैं। इसी टाइम पे इस साल इस टाइम पे फॉर्मल क्लासेस जिस तरीके से हम लोग यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर करवाते हैं वो पॉसिबल नहीं हो पा रही है। इसीलिए जेएनयू स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन की तरफ से हम लोग रीच आउट करने की ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कोशिश कर रहे हैं हर एस्पिरेंट। हालांकि अभी टाइम थोड़ा लग रहा है कि हम लोग किस तरीके से हर एक एस्पिरेंट तक पहुंच जाए। बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स के पास ऑनलाइन कनेक्शन नहीं है। इसको समझते हुए हम लोग अपने तरीके से कोशिश कर रहे कि हम लोग सिर्फ ऑनलाइन के थ्रू नहीं, हमारे जेएनयू के छात्र जिस भी जगह पे है, अगर वो किसी भी तरीके से इस टाइम पे हेल्प कर सके, हम लोग अपने तरीके से कोशिश पूरा कर रहे हैं। तो इस लाइव सेशन को हम लोग और 5 मिनट में शुरू करेंगे। तब तक अगर जो एस्पिरेंट्स जेएनयू एसयू के इस लाइव सेशन में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, आप सभी से अपील है कि आप लोग आपके बाकी जो दोस्त हैं उनको इस लाइव सेशन में ज्वाइन करने के लिए बोलिए। और साथ ही साथ आपके जो क्वेश्चंस है उसको आप कमेंट बॉक्स पे डाल दीजिए। जेएनयू स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन के लिए भी कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो कि एंट्रेंस को लेते हुए या जेएनयू के बारे में आप जानना चाहते हैं तो ज़रूर फील फ्री कि आप लोग क्वेश्चंस को डालिए। और session both in Hindi and English makes under the culture, the language diversity in the country. So this is a initiative by the JNU Students Union. As we know that there are lakhs of aspirants who appear for the JNU entrance examination, and even of aspirants have already been contacting us regarding online classes, help entrance of for entrance examination. But as we know, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, this time it's not possible at this moment to conduct any kind of classes in formal way inside the university or anywhere. So what the JNU Students Union is trying to maximally and possibly help the maximum students all throughout this country, wherever we are, to reach out to all of you in maximum possible way. Also I would request that we will start the session in 2-3 minutes. Whoever are joining from like all over the part of this country, this is a request that please ask question relevant to your subject that you are applying, or if in case your friend is not able to connect through this live session and you know what their questions, probable questions are, please to ask the questions. Or if you have any question regarding to Jawaharlal Nehru University, about the university, or any questions regarding the entrance examination, please do feel free to just ask the questions in the comment boxes. we will be answering every thing of them. What more important, I like to say that now in the next 3 days we will be continuously having live sessions, and then we will be again giving new updates on how we will be continuing this. So please keep following JNUSU page, so that all, this is a request to all the aspirants, that whoever is connected to us, please do connect to our JNU Students Union page so that you come to know. We know that many of the aspirants might not have and would not obviously have internet connection. We are also trying to reach out to them and help them over telephonic conversation and communication. But this is an appeal, whoever is joining, please just put your questions right here. So the live session, I will be, it's in 1 hour session, so I will be dividing the session into the courses generally studied, and specifically because I belong from the School of International Studies, so I will be focusing majorly on that, and any other questions obviously after that I will be answering the questions within the session. So as you all know that JNU is in Central University. It comes under the central government, and so obviously the funding and everything comes from the UGC and the central government budget. And JNU doesn't have bachelor courses in social sciences or sciences majorly. JNU only provides bachelor's courses in the foreign languages like Russian, Arabic, Korean, Chinese, French, Japanese. So is really interested after their 12th to study a bachelor's program in foreign languages should apply for. JNU has been known for its foreign language course. It is well known for its foreign language courses happens in foreign languages. So any student who doesn't want to study the mainstream subjects, like maybe whether it's in sciences or the social sciences or other languages, can obviously opt for the foreign language courses. There are helpline numbers from JNUSU that we have already given. You can contact us for any detailed suggestions that you need for School of Languages. We will be giving you the numbers, passing you the numbers of the volunteers who can help you out in detail about the materials, about the books that you need to study. So many students have a confusion, and they ask that whether only percentage of boards is needed to for this entrance exam, for this like admission in bachelor's. But I want to specifically say this, that you need to sit for the entrance examination. The bachelor's program also happens to the entrance examination. So this is all about the bachelor's courses that JNU has. There are a lot more wide ranges of master's courses in JNU. As you know that JNU is majorly known for its research programs and master's programs. So JNU has master's program all over. So it has the School of Languages where Urdu, obviously the foreign languages, the Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Arabic and French, German and different other languages. It has masters in English, it has masters in linguistics. So these are the varied course in School of Languages. School of International Studies has School of International Studies has masters in 3 courses, which is the International and Area Study, International Relations and Area Studies in masters, masters in Politics with specialization in international relations, and for Trade and Development, which is in International Economics. These are the 3 major courses that School of International Studies. School of Social Sciences has again varied range of master's courses, starting from history, which is having in other mainstream courses political psychology, informal studies and varied other courses in social sciences. So just see through the prospectus. It is very important for the aspirants. I might cut through in between, but please go through the prospectus, choose the subject that you really want to pursue, and find out the subject, and please go for it. So there are a lot of varied master's courses, and even in sciences there is a whole lot of master's courses. So please go through the prospectus properly, that which course exactly you want to pursue, and then please apply for it. Now in MPhil PhD, if I come through, obviously JNU is known for its projects. The thing is that, but what is very much important, that it is coming across to us that many of the aspirants are not looking into the prospectus before applying. So in MPhil PhD, students should be careful, the aspirants should be very much careful that MPhil PhD has number of, if there are no seats in a particular course, please don't apply. So I want to specifically say this, please don't make a mistake, ये गलती ना करें. हर MPhil PhD के कोर्स में आपके कुछ कुछ कि आपके पर्टिकुलर आपका कितना सीट्स है. अगर किसी कोर्स में आपका सीट्स नहीं है, प्रोस्पेक्टस में लिखा हुआ है कि सीट्स नील है या ज़ीरो है या कुछ लिखा नहीं है सीट्स के आगे, उन सारे कोर्सेज़ में आप प्लीज़ कृपया करके अप्लाई ना करें, क्योंकि वो आपका जो आपने अगर आप अप्लाई करेंगे तो वो कैंसिल हो जाएगा. तो स्पेसिफिकली एस्पिरेंट्स जो MPhil PhD के लिए अप्लाई कर, वो ध्यान देते हुए अप्लाई PhD में कितने सीट्स है. और MPhil PhD अलग इंटीग्रेटेड कोर्स नहीं है. MPhil के लिए अलग आपको फॉर्म फिलअप करना पड़ेगा, PhD के लिए अलग. सो ये क्लियर रखें कि MPhil में अगर सीट्स है तो MPhil में भरे, अगर PhD में सीट्स है तो PhD के लिए भरे. अगर ऐसा ना कि MPhil के लिए सीट था बट आप फॉर्म में भर दिए PhD के लिए, तो इसमें प्लीज़ केयरफुल रहिएगा कि आप MPhil PhD में खास करके काफ़ी हमें कॉल किए हैं और इसमें दिक्कतें आ रही हैं, तो खास करके इस पे ध्यान रखें. सो द ओवरऑल यूनिवर्सिटी प्रिसाइड्स ऑल दिस थिंग्स. Now the thing is कि I have done my bachelor's in political science, and then I did my master's in international relations, and MPhil, currently I am pursuing my MPhil for Center for Inner Asian Studies in School of International Studies, and my course is an MPhil PhD course in School of International Studies, JNU. So I will be specifically dealing with SIS, but what I would like to say that I background mean that students only from political science background can come for an interdisciplinary course like SIS. So specifically from my point of experience, I would like to say that I joined my master's course in 2016 to 18, and I did the course Masters in International Relations and Area Studies. So when I did this course, we had a batch of 39 students in masters at that point of time, and a lot of students came from different disciplinary background. There were classmates of mine who came from sociology, many came from political science, many came from English literature, there were students who came from engineering background. So there is nothing always like many, if we are from political science, if we are not from political science, can we get through the examination? So I just want to make it clear that JNU entrance examination has nothing to do only with knowledge, and please go by your interest. अगर आपको कोई सब्जेक्ट अच्छा लगता है, आप उसको परस्यू करना चाहिए, तो ज़रूर उस सब्जेक्ट के लिए आप फॉर्म फिलअप करें, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़े हैं तो आपका आप ही सिर्फ क्रैक कर सकते हैं और बाकी कोई क्रैक नहीं कर सकता. जैसे कि मैं बता रही थी कि मैं खुद IR MA IR में मैंने किया है। मैं ऑब्वियसली पॉलिटिकल साइंस बैकग्राउंड से हूँ, बट मेरे काफ़ी क्लासमेट्स मास्टर्स में नॉन पॉलिटिकल साइंस बैकग्राउंड से तो जो काफ़ी स्टूडेंट्स पूछते रहते हैं कि इज़ इट डिफ़िकल्ट टू क्रैक। नो, इट्स जस्ट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू बी फोकस्ड, and that is why what is important at this moment is we need to go through the syllabus quite in details, because काफ़ी हद तक ये होता है कि हम लोग बहुत सारी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें जो सिलेबस में हमारे प्रोस्पेक्टस में दिया रहता है उसको हम भूल जाते हैं। और जो मैं यहाँ से बताना चाहती हूँ कि JNU स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन सिलेबस और रीडिंग लिस्ट सब कुछ रिलीज़ करेगा इसी पेज में, तो काइंडली आप इस पेज को फॉलो करते रहिएगा, इससे आपको काफ़ी हेल्प होगी। द JNU स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन विल बी रिलीजिंग द through this page, so keep following our page so that you come to know what are the major reading lists that you can study subjects. And as I'm saying that it's not only for School of International Studies that we will release, but for all other schools we are preparing the reading list, and we will be coming out with it very shortly, so that the aspirants know what are the basic reading. I came for my masters. It was a very subjective pattern for JNU. JNU had a subjective. Now, as you see, it's an objective pattern. So, last year's question paper, and if I see the pattern in a way, so what is very much important for aspirants to keep in mind, that study topic wise. So the syllabus is given. In the syllabus there are topics that are given, so it is very important that we go topic wise. Those to internet, please go search those topics in internet and just study about it, because in masters in international relations, politics with IR, what majorly is going to come are IR theories, political science theories. So international relations theories aren't that difficult for students to grasp. The major theories that you need to keep in mind is realism, Marxism and constructivism, and who were the proponents of these theories, which school of thought. So just keep in mind the major theories, the schools of thought. This is majorly the theoretical we need to. Also, what is very important in IR is the dateline, the timeline of events in IR happening. For example, like when did some of the treaty were signed, when particular maybe conventions happened, or maybe when did an environment like Rio summit happen. I'm just taking examples, saying that what does what I am trying to convey is these JNU entrance examination is more about factual correctness and not about just subjective understanding of the entrance examination. I know it might sound quite difficult and it might sound that you just need to mug up things, but it's not like that. If we just remember the timeline, that how the series of events happened in the world politics, it will be easier for us. Like First World War happening, what happened in those areas, which country, where, what were their positions in the world scenario, then the Second World War happening, and keep in mind that just go through the important, just ensure that you write down the timeline, that when what happened in which country. Maybe some question about some empire, factual questions, some question about European Union, some question about world organizations, some question about the UN, United Nations, its treaties. So these are the things that we need to focus. Important that we focus on these. Many students ask obviously that what is the difference between masters in politics with IR and what is the difference between masters in international relations and area studies. Are both the papers going to be same? Are both the questions going to be same? So I would like to really say that no, both the questions question paper are not going to be the same. Ideally, if you see, politics with IR has more of a theoretical question base, But if you move towards international relations and area studies, the question is more area study specific. Now I'll just take a minute to tell what is area study specific. Like what I mean by that is you need to focus on country specific questions. Like there might be questions related to specifically Indonesia, Nepal. There might be questions related to West Asia, like countries like Saudi Arabia. There might be specific questions about US or Australia. So for all this, what is helpful, I really would like to suggest, is go through the 10 years question paper of UGC NET international relations and area studies. It is one of those guide which will really help you for IR and area studies, because what the UGC 10 years question paper, they have been making questions on IR and area studies specific domain. Now what happens while you solve that, they give you a variety of range of MCQs. Like once you solve them, you get to know that exactly what how you should be preparing and what are the questions that you can think of, because it's just not easy always to go and just study about First World War. There have been thousands of events in First. Can't write down so many events in detailed manner. What is at this moment very important is facts and figures, which is important, and that is exactly the key to crack this examination, that you know which is the most important fact and figure, you need to pick it up. And that is why the UGC NET JRF question paper, it's a 10 years question paper, it's easily available, and we will even share the link in our page. So please do go through it. It is going to help you a lot about the questions. And please go through the books and authors of IR, like it's very important. And please go through the important books and authors, because they might give you name of a book and tell who has written it, or they might give the vice versa. They might give the name of author and give a lot of books, 4 options of books name, and from that they might ask you to select which book has that author written. So just try to go through it. A lot of people ask suggestions of books. Those who are already from political science background, like I know that the syllabus that we study in bachelor's specifically, generally if you see maximum of the universities, I know that many of the regional universities don't teach international relations in their bachelor's, but there is nothing that students from regional universities don't crack. They have exemplary done well, and so please don't keep in mind that this divide that is there, that they won't be able to do this. So this should be very much clear, that if the syllabus is clear in your head, it's not that difficult. Secondly, it is very much important for applicants, I want to specifically say that when you fill up the form, ensure that you see that there are special deprivation points for particular areas, students districts. Please go through that, because last year also a lot of aspirants didn't fill up and they missed out the deprivation points. It is very important. It is very important that JNU as an university is been providing deprivation points to the students coming from quartile districts, women, and please see your form when you fill it up, and fill it up clearly. If there is any issue, please drop in a message to the JNUSU office bearers, counselors, any of the contact numbers that you have got through, or please drop in a message to the JNUSU page so that we come to know what help you need. So getting back to it is, this is what the master's course is. Now master's in international trade and development, majorly it consists of the international economics area. So again, it is very important that we go through the past year's question paper. And one important thing that I would like to say, not only go through the UGC question papers, please also go through other universities' question pattern, because in Delhi University and in Hyderabad Central University and other universities, there has been already entrances which are based on MCQ pattern. So if you solve those, it also is going to give you an idea how MCQ pattern are. So it will give you really idea of how MCQ pattern is to be solved, what are the questions coming. Now if specifically I move towards MPhil PhD entrance examination, and because I am specifically talking about School of International Studies, there will be other live sessions on science schools, social sciences and everything. I am specifically talking about international studies. SIS MPhil PhD generally has questions 50% from research methodology and 50% from the domain subject. So like I come from Center for Inner Asian Studies. So the 50% questions will come from the research methodology. So it is very important for the ones who are applying for MPhil PhD that please don't leave research methodology. Please don't leave research methodology, because that is going to consist of your like 50% of your paper. Any UGC paper, first paper 1, teaching aptitude and all these is sufficient for the preparation of your research aptitude, research methodology, 50% questions for JNU. The questions in JNU is not something that is not common, or is very difficult. Of 10 years question paper of UGC NET, these are times when easily from bookshops or something. That is why we will be sharing the links also. Those who have the book for UGC paper 1, please do solve that. That is sufficient for solving this research methodology paper. But what is very important is just be focused. Try to just remember the tactics that you solved, just practice, and that will be sufficient to understand the pattern when you face the examination. 50% questions will be from the domain, like if you are applying for European studies, if you are applying for Center for Inner Asian and other any area for your MPhil PhD, focus on the domain subject. Obviously some questions will be from IR theories. Please don't miss out IR theories. It is very important that you keep in mind that IR theories shouldn't be missed out, but obviously domain subject knowledge is important. Center for Inner Asian Studies, it is majorly dealing with the Central Asian countries, so be very specific about what happens in the Central Asian countries, what are the treaties signed, relation with India. If you are similarly studying for European, the same thing, to know about the whole structure in Europe, what the history, the modern history of Europe, the medieval and the ancient history, just go through it. And their relation with India is also important, because many of times there are certain questions with India and Europe relations, how their relations, a question on that, or India-China relation, or India-Japan relation in every subject. So should be very clear of that. So these are the basic thing that I would like to say. But then for specifically for SIS, what is important, I want to reiterate that please go through the UGC question papers, and those who are coming from political science background, have studied IR, have studied global politics in your semesters, that is going to be sufficient. Just go through it, don't leave anything. We generally study readings, just go through the readings properly, so those will be sufficient. But please do solve the UGC question papers, that will be sufficient. So I think so now a lot of questions are coming. I will be answering questions one by one, but I hope I'm just able to cover what majorly SIS asks for, what are the major questions. And many questions are coming on hostel related things and JNU, so I'll just do a quick information and a little about it. So JNU is a university which has 18 hostels, and all these hostels it is residential, but I would specifically say that hostels are given obviously rank basis, merit rank basis, but then there are priority for SC, ST, OBC, PWD and women students. This I want to specifically say, but majorly there has been no such issues. Don't even get to stay in the hostel, so you don't need to worry about all these things. Are available inside the campus. It's not that people need to stay outside the campus. So many of the questions are coming that whether hostels are available or students need to stay throughout the course outside. No, this is exactly what we say, that JNU, we ensure that JNU we can make it more inclusive, so that students who come from far off distance, they don't have to suffer when they come for higher education, especially the marginalized and the women students who are coming. So this is one. And specifically talking, many people are asking about the fees and all. So the fees is 283 rupees for JNU admissions, and there are other hostel charges. So I now will be specifically taking entrance related questions. So is a lot of students have asked this, that for BA foreign language. So Navneet has been asking how to prepare for BA foreign. So Navneet, as I said, that the question papers and the sample question papers for BA foreign language easily available, and we will share the download link also here, as you have joined for with us in this online session. Just ensure that you go through comprehensions, basic questions, regional ability, and questions related to the language, which is the specific BA foreign language that you want to study. Just keep in mind to that domain subject. So, and I will be forwarding some contact numbers that you can contact, so that it helps you to exactly know, because as you have written only BA foreign language, which is the exact subject that you want to know about, language you know about. We will share the volunteers that you can contact to. So there is some. Hi Shrishti. So Shrishti is asking, hey, I want to know about the application, as my application form has been done and submitted, but I have to correct some of the things and that. So what's the procedure? Do I have to wait till the panel recorrect the form? Shrishti, so the thing is that many aspirants just unknowingly, if they have missed out something in the application forms, after the date ends of application, NTA generally opens the form. It happens same for other exams also. It opens the form to correct the forms for a week or so. So please keep visiting the website of NTA after the forms are submitted. They will open the applications again to correct. That time you can correct it. So there are no issues. If in case NTA will open the application forms again after the whole procedure is over, application procedure is over, you can correct it. So Madhu Barshi Dasgupta, hi. To get in JNU, if I have any luck, what kind of so it's not about luck. I just got through the question. See, I want to really clearly say that if the students are just putting their effort, I know they will be able to crack for it, and this is not the end, and JNU is not the end. There are several central universities, there are other universities. So please don't just think that the world is only at JNU and ends at JNU. So everyone to come to JNU, that's a very good thing. The number of questions coming, it's good or anything. It's just you study properly, and have any queries, please do contact us. We'll be there to help. So that will be sufficient for you. And please focus during entrance. Don't think that JNU has certain pattern that you won't be able. This JNU entrance examination is just like any other entrance examination. So please keep this fear out of your minds that it's not an easy thing to crack JNU. Just be follow your syllabus, cover your syllabus, and that's it. Okay. So Isha is asking about, could you please brief the procedure for MPhil PhD and the preparation? So Isha, I didn't get which subject are you talking about, but if general MPhil PhD you are talking about, I just would like to brief. The procedure is same. MPhil, you just see the prospectus, the number of seats for MPhil and the number of seats for PhD, which subject you want to apply, and preparations, as I clearly said that the preparations has been that you have to go through the UGC net question papers. Please also look for go through the JNU entrance question paper of last year. It is available and we will share the download link here. So go through it, you will understand the pattern. Also go through the question pattern of other universities which follows MCQ pattern. That is going to give you a whole lot of idea. As you clearly know that NTA is dealing with questions, so that will give you an easy understanding how questions are going to be and what pattern of questions it is going to be. So it is not going to be any subjective kind, it's be objective. So please be very find whichever subject you are, it will depend on the view from that subject perspective. But as I was just explaining about IR, facts and figures are very much important, should be studied from that particular angle. Okay, so where GK. Okay, so Robin is asking, for Pol Science which book I should prefer. Robin, what I would say is that please, if you are from political science background, just go through your course syllabus which you are studying in bachelor's, that is sufficient. If not, go through the UGC or any basic book of political science. We'll share also the link of volunteers and the numbers that you can contact through, so that you can get the entrance preparation of UGC preparation guidance that will give you an holistic idea of how political science questions are to be. Study the theories properly, because books are important, theories are important, proponents, they ask who has given which theory, these are important. Questions from Indian Constitution and all these areas are very much important. So please do go through all these things, and please solve the question papers for mass, which gives you an idea of how to be dealt with the subject. Saurav is asking which type of exam of political science specialization in international relations in MA this year. Type of exam is MCQ, as I already said, and the question will be mixed about IR theories and world history. So for world history, a book like Norman Louis is I think so it's easily available, and if even not, just go through the syllabus, see the top, read it out in internet materials, whatever you get, that is sufficient. Because see, at the end of the day, the certain facts and figures are similar wherever you study, whether you study Normal Louis, whether you study from your own materials, that is going to be same. It's very important to know the timeline that is happening, and there is no worry that some books are better than the others, and we don't need to buy all kinds of books. Please don't do the mistake of buying and just look at your friends and buy whatever there is no need to spend money on all these things. Just be focused on your syllabus. Any single guidance book is sufficient for the preparation, because even if you some students are asking which company books we should buy for UGC. There has nothing to do with any particular company book, and I would never recommend that. I would specifically say what is important is to solve the question paper. So you can get the question papers easily anywhere, either from the UGC site also, website, or if you have bought any guidance book, that is also fine. Just solve those question papers, see what questions they have been asking, but there is no particular book or company book that I would suggest that this is better than the other. So there is nothing. What is important that whether we understand or we are understanding the reasoning or not. What should be very clear among the aspirants is हमें खुद बहुत क्लियर रहना होगा कि रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी के अगर क्वेश्चन आएंगे, रिसर्च एप्टीट्यूड से क्वेश्चन आएंगे, तो हम उसको समझ पा रहे कि नहीं पा रहे. तो इसीलिए क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करना घर बैठे बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि हम लोग समझे क्वेश्चन किस तरीके से किए जा रहे हैं, क्या क्या क्वेश्चन इससे पहले. जब 10 साल के क्वेश्चन देखेंगे तो पैटर्न कहीं ना कहीं सेम रहता है. आपको 10 साल के क्वेश्चंस करने से आपको समझ आती है किस तरीके का पैटर्न है. तो इसीलिए बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आप MCQ क्वेश्चंस जितना ज़्यादा सॉल्व करेंगे, और उतनी मजबूत बनेगी सब्जेक्ट में. आपको समझ आएगा कि किस तरीके से फैक्ट्स को भी पढ़ना है. क्योंकि मैं बार बार यही बता रही हूँ, सिर्फ चीज़ों को पढ़ के नोट्स बना के छोड़ देना इज़ नॉट सफिशिएंट. हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि कौन से फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स को हमें उठा के अच्छे से और पढ़ना है. Navneet is saying that provide us materials. Surely, please keep following our page. It's taking time. We know that, but these get all the materials, get help from years and trying to give it. So it's, but please keep following our, so that whatever syllabus reading materials we give, we can help out to maximum. Can reach out to the maximum students. So Kankana is asking that whether we can share the question here. Yeah, surely. A lot of students, I think so, have asked and requested the JNU Students Union to share the links. So we will be doing that shortly. We will be uploading the drive so that it helps students who are not able to get it through. We can bring it into one place, and so that you can easily download, and that can. So, and many of the aspirants have been sharing the links also in the comment section. So if any case, please also you can go through the comments. Many of the aspirants have shared the. Still, the JNU Students Union will share it in this page so that aspirants can visit it and get the question papers. Also, asking what is the okay, Ayushi cutoff of BA. So Ayushi, there is no specific cutoff per se that it is decided. It's obviously upon the entrance examination. What is the average marking happening, the people, obviously the aspirants who have appeared for the entrance examination, it is going to be in that manner. So it's we can't specifically say what is the likely cutoff going to be, but what is important that if our preparation is majorly fine, so we can you can be confident of, because last time in certain language courses there was a cutoff of 70, more than that, so averagely. So it varies from year to year. There has been different cutoffs in different years. It all depends on the aspirants questions and what is the average questions correctly done and all. So so don't need to worry about that. Just be focused on your preparation. Okay, some Anamika is also asking detailed syllabus and topics for MA PISM. Anamika, we will be uploading the reading list for IR. I was already explaining in the earlier live session, recorded and uploaded in this page. You can go and hear it. That it's very important go through the world history for knowing the international relations timeline, and IR theories are very important. So that is the detailed study that you need to do. And if you are going for area studies also, it is very important that you also study area specific topics like things happening in particular South Asian countries, treaties, organization, country related issue, not only India but or any of the countries, any question can come from it. So, or maybe from European Union, or any question from any SAARC, or anything on area studies topic specific issue can come. So please be focused on area related issue if you are applying for international relations and area studies. So Jagman is asking that any specific book suggestion for domain knowledge for inner Asian studies, please. No, there is no specific book for inner Asian studies. Why, Jagman, I would say because inner Asia doesn't have a particular understanding. So the definition of inner Asia comprises of Central Asia. It comprises of an area, Afghanistan, and if you see these areas. And so it is very important that we can't there is no specific book on together, but there are different reading materials available on the history of Afghanistan, on the history of Tibet, on the history of the Central Asian countries, and on the history of Inner Mongolia. What is important, Jagman, is you know what Inner Asia is, that area. Known definition of inner Asia is that, and it has been evolving. What is majorly important, that you understand which area does inner Asia cover, and you have to study about those areas history. Like for Central Asia, it is not study how these countries were formed, but also their history. Study the leaders, study the political parties in those countries. Also study the important treaties that had happened, major regional organizations these countries are, and it's important to understand what are the empires in Afghanistan, regional organizations, world organizations Afghanistan is part of. So these important things that you need to keep in mind while studying inner Asia. The treaties that these countries, what are the treaties they are part of, what are the treaties they are not part of. So these are very important. Which year did they get independence, and when was their strategic relationships or their relations established with India. So it is very important that you also remember that those countries have to be related with India, and those kind of questions also come at a point.